Hello, and welcome to Communities Connected, a land and lifestyle podcast by Alisant. I am Danette Beal, Vice President of Marketing at Alisant, along with April Lamont, who is the host of the podcast. And today we have a very special podcast. We have the Smith Lane group, both co-hosts here, Callie Friedman and Monaca Onstad. Callie is Vice President of Operations at the OnPlace Collective, and Monaca Onstad is CEO and co-founder. Hello, ladies.
Hi. Hi. We were just saying how excited we are to be guests on a podcast and not the hosts this time. It's very
liberating.
It's so liberating. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Monaca, you have been on the podcast quite a few times, and Callie, you've also been on before. Why don't you just give us a little bit of an introduction? We've got some new people who are listeners that we'd love to tell a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Monaca Onstad, I have been in the development industry for over 20 years now. Worked on some amazing projects during my career. About 4 years ago, I launched, actually almost exactly 4 years ago, I launched OnPlace. And I know we'll get into later everything OnPlace does, but we really help master plan community developers and builders create place.
And my name is Callie Friedman. Monaca and I are very open about this, but for any listeners who don't know,
We're very open.
We are related. So Monaca is my first cousin, but she's more like a second mom to me, really. And I, before working for Monaca, did absolutely nothing in the land development world, knew nothing coming in. I was a recruiter, specifically within the government services industry. So I had kind of reached a point where I was like, I'm ready for the next step. Monaca had started a podcast, a company.
You didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, I didn't know the podcast part was coming. She started a company, and about a year into her starting OnPlace, I texted her and I was like, hey, I see you started a company. I would love the opportunity to learn about it, interview if there's an opportunity. And here we are 4 years later. And now I know a lot about land development.
It's been quite a ride, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been, and I think just thank God for Callie and Mackenzie, Straley and Amanda Arnold, who were there from the very beginning, and Sandy Friedman there from the very, very beginning, helping us get this off the ground. And, not knowing exactly what we were going to do. We knew we were going to do amenity management or amenity planning. But, from there, and we're going to do some lifestyle, but we really came together and put a package of offerings together for our clients as they came to us and wanted different things.
I remember being there with you to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the company, and just how much energy and love and what kind of outpouring of support there was amongst a very large group of people who I think are all invested in your success.
Yeah. And, everything I do is about community, right? And relationship building has been important to me for my entire life. That's how I grew up. That's how we got Smith Lane, right? And so that party was pretty amazing because we were just, we were still only a year old. We were barely into, the infancy still of our company. But our clients showed up to that, our extended community. And one of the things that has really, I guess, not really surprised me, that just really warmed my heart, is how our clients show up for us every single day. Like, they're not just, people we're helping from a community development perspective. They help us too, right? They refer us out. We're completely 100% referral based, and they're always telling their developer friends about us and bringing us new clients. And, they know my family, I know their families, and it's become like this extended kind of family. And so I didn't expect that when I started the business, but it's been a great pleasure a great surprise.
Yeah.
So just this past couple of years since I've been at Alisant, I've really noticed how much you've grown. It seems like, even when we were at the New Home Trends Institute Consumer Council, Callie, it seems like there was a huge buzz around OnPlace, which was OnPlace before, now the OnPlace Collective. And with that, you all have had quite a bit of changes in the past year. What has the past year been like, and what are some of the new exciting things that are happening?
Do you want to talk about this? Would you like for me to?
I'll start and
Okay.
then you can
Okay.
correct me. This is how we work, right? I say something and Monica's like, actually. So, so many changes. We actually just hired our 110th employee. And April, you said it. What a ride it's been. The past 4 years have been like, we're just like running. That's how it feels, right? So that's where we're at now. We just hired our 110th employee. That last year, we collectively as a leadership team got together and we're like, wow, we're really building something here. We have all these service lines that we offer. You know, we can do marketing services, we do lifestyle services, we do amenity visioning, we do welcome centers. And we realized it was getting a little confusing to our clients and honestly our internal employees to explain our brand and what we do in an easy, digestible way. So we did a rebrand, and this is where Monica likes to correct me. It's not a rebrand. It's
an evolution.
It's an evolution. And so we went from OnPlace to OnPlace Collective, and we had this huge brainstorming session. It was really an amazing experience where our leadership team came together and we got together with our executive coach and we whiteboarded it. We were like, okay, who are we? What do? We took a look at our values and we were like, yes, these still apply, but also we've changed a lot in the last 4 years.
Yeah, and we interviewed 50 clients.
Yes.
Over 50 clients to understand how they saw us, right? And so we really wanted to make sure that our values were aligned with how we were being seen as well. And
that was really a fun exercise too, and a little bit of like a pep in our step.
Just so you know, guys, our clients think we're gritty go-getters.
Yes, gritty go-getters. And a lot of the things that came up were like OnPlace, no matter what the project is, just tends to be like the project manager of things.
We like to take control.
We just like get in there and we're like, okay, you know, HOA team, you're going to do this and you're going to do this. And it was portrayed in a good way, right? That's just like who we are at our core. We like to make sure things are done right. And so with all of that feedback, we started to evaluate our values and our pillars and who we wanted to be seen and known as. And out of that evolution was born amenity, Onspire, and OnV. So how I like to explain it to people is OnPlace Collective is our big umbrella of our big, beautiful company. And underneath are our main service lines. And all of our services can fall into amenity, which is our amenity visioning program management side of the company. Then we've got Onspire, which is our marketing arm of the company. So fractional marketing directors, welcome center services, anything of that nature. And then OnV, which we already had created as our lifestyle arm of the company, but we went off of OnV with the on being, we're sticking with OnPlace, OnV, amenity. And knowing Monica, we will probably get 7 more on somethings in the next 5 or so years.
We shall see. We shall see.
What did I miss?
I think you did a very good job. I think that, you know, it really became visible that there's not another company in the industry right now that does the services that we've put together all under one roof. And there was some confusion in the market, like, oh, you can do that too. You can do that too. So that was really, it was just as we, bolted on additional services based on our clients' needs, we're like, let's just make the path easy for them. That raw land to resident path, anything in that marketing and lifestyle arm of it and the amenity piece, we can help with. So let's just make a clear path for our clients to follow.
You know, it's really interesting. One of the things that we're focusing on right now is operationalizing lifestyle, meaning that, every point of that development, you have to put lifestyle into consideration. And I would consider your company really the gold star of being able to do that. And it sounds like a lot of even this kind of sectioning or, grouping of what y'all do is really focusing lifestyle at different parts of, of the development and where a community could be. Can you guys kind of expand around how you look at lifestyle and how you bring that into a community?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually think that lifestyle should be called social architecture, right? And because I think in this industry, we have labeled lifestyle, especially lifestyle directors, as almost like cruise directors,
Yeah.
which if you're listening to this, don't do it. That's not what we want to call lifestyle directors. But when I started the company, you fast forward about a year or two before I started the company, I'd run into I was working at Lakewood Ranch with the developer of Lakewood Ranch there, and I ran into someone who had just been promoted as a lifestyle director at one of the villages in Lakewood Ranch, and I asked about her tenure to get there, right? And she said, "Oh, well, I was the cart girl, and I smiled really, at people, and that people seemed to like me." So they promoted me to admin. And then the residents responded nicely to me. So they promoted me to lifestyle director. And I actually went home after that meeting and wrote an entire 4-page brief, if you will, on what that poor girl could do on her first day of being a lifestyle director and everything she needed to consider because the role is huge, right? And a lot of times our, developers and builders don't see how big the role is and how much impact it can have. So fast forward to when 4 years ago when I was starting the company, we really wanted to put lifestyle directors, give them a seat at the table, right?
Mhm.
Understand if a client understands what's happening on the ground in the future, right? What do residents want to do? It's so much better. You're going to spend less money on your amenities. I mean, sometimes we go kind of overboard on amenities when maybe that's not even really what the client wants. So what we do here is we start out with a lifestyle program. So we do a lifestyle plan first before we even tell you what we're wanting to, from an amenity standpoint, what we're going to need. And that's important. And if we would if our architects are listening, our landscape architects are listening, like think about that first. Think about that lifestyle plan first. Because once you get that lifestyle plan in place, you can clearly see the amenities you need. Like it's going to shake out, right? Because what do you need to hold those programs? And so that's been really the key to our success is making sure every step of the way lifestyle is involved and making sure that our lifestyle directors have a voice, right? Going back to them, understanding what's happening on the community level, pushing that back up to, our builders and developers.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, and
that.
I would say, I was gonna say I loved your observation, Danette, and I would say like a way that plays out is I'm just gonna make something up, but for example, we create a lifestyle plan first, and if we've surveyed the area and we know it's gonna be a large amount of stay-at-home moms with young kids, right? Part of our lifestyle plan is absolutely gonna be children programming, arts and crafts, blah blah blah. Now we know when we're in the amenity phase process and the architect presents a clubhouse that there's clearly no section marked out for where arts and crafts are going to happen or whatever, wherever that's going to take place. Like that completely takes over the conversation. We're like, but where are the arts and crafts going to
Right.
happen for the moms with young children?
And we get very detailed like that. And even from like a fitness perspective, we had one client and their architect wanted a certain piece of equipment. And I said, well, we've surveyed their sister community and they don't want that. So why would we put it in this community? They were building, and so we get very detailed on even down to the fitness equipment, like what is the clientele actually going to use so that we can give
Mhm.
good recommendations to our clients.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
this term social architecture because it really conveys the strategic importance of this type of consideration. One of the things I always worry about is like, Callie, like you said, well, where are the crafts going to happen? Well, there's so many steps that layer to we need a space for these crafts versus the tactical solution of where are people going to do these crafts. I mean, the amount of rigor that you all at OnPlace put into serious consideration of who's going to be the future buyer, the future resident. What does the land offer sort of organic, naturally as a starting point? And then I see it as just this really elegant layering that add up to social architecture or lifestyle as we more affectionately
Right.
call it. But it is a real strategic process. I've seen you go through this many times, and I'm so impressed with how you do it.
Thank you. And, we have to nail down the uses, right? So,
Yeah.
and it's not just active use, it's passive as well. But every visioning report we put together for amenity planning comes with uses, like a use analysis, right? Like, how are people going to use this space? And we won't even begin talking about the element, like the hardcore elements, until we can nail down how people are going to use the space, right? And it could be, I'm going to walk my dog there, right? But then what do I need to walk my dog in that area? Those type of things. Like, we have to get very granular in that. And sometimes we're not seen as the fun people in the room anymore because I'm like, where's the Christmas tree going? And we get really dialed into those things. And so, but it makes a better product in the end.
Yeah, and that's really where, as a lifestyle director and you kind of talking about it's not just the cruise director. They're not just the face of the community, but they're really the ones that know everything about the community over the course of the year. So, an architect or the developer might come in and say this room is meant for, big large events, but you all think of it as you've got Christmas happening here. We want to have 4 to 5 Christmas trees. We have to have that space. We need to have the arts and crafts, bazaar that's happening. And so I think just having that eye on the flexibility of those spaces and the multi-use of the spaces is something that the lifestyle team are really the ones that have the most understanding of that out of anybody within a community.
Absolutely.
Yes. And just to boast up our lifestyle directors a little bit more, and to Monica's point, like the lifestyle director role is all encompassing. And what we're really pushing our lifestyle directors to understand more and more is the value of their place on site and the art of the sale. Like the relationships they are building with those sales reps, the relationships they're building with the residents, understanding their client, their developer, and how to speak about the client and developer in a certain way, knowing what's going on from a development perspective, that all goes into more sales. So yes, they know the spaces that need to happen, but we're
We're going
really
deeper.
we're pushing them to go deeper and be a whole part. Like, what is the bigger picture here?
So our lifestyle directors, we typically don't hire often. We don't hire people with prior lifestyle director experience right now. We're looking actually for hospitality and sales. So if you have lifestyle director experience, great. But if you don't, that's okay. As long as you have some type of hospitality and sales, because at the end of the day, the lifestyle director is probably your best salesperson on site, right?
Mhm.
And so then we take that further and we have a training and development manager who trains our lifestyle directors on the sales, right? How to get that sale. And we've had great success. We just had another one this week to say, thanks so much. I got that event got us another sale. We're so excited. So we love when that happens. But the lifestyle directors are typically looking more toward an event and making sure residents are happy. And we want them to do that and make sure that residents are connecting with one another. But there's also value when it's a new home sales community to make sure that they are connecting to prospects as well and to the sales teams. And we've done that really well. I mean, we even have a training where I think Miss Jackie over there put it together where you have like all of the terminology, right, in development. Like it can get confusing, lot takedowns, all of these things. We train all of our lifestyle directors on those things, right? So to understand the lingo and how, like when you're talking to a client, that you can understand the lingo on what they're saying and how, to speak back to them on it.
That's so smart. Recently we had Dave Lang out on the podcast,
Mhm.
and of course he was singing your praises. But one of the things that he really talked about that I know, comes from your deep partnership with them is, how do we help that prospective buyer understand what it would be like if they lived there? That,
Mhm.
the fundamental, almost commoditized aspects of the home. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many car bays, in my garage. That those are table stakes, right? Why buy here in my community versus down the road where I can essentially get the same commodities in that house, in that product. And um, I think that was a really astute observation. I could tell you
Mhm.
guys have been working
We've
a long
trained
time
him
listening.
well.
Can we just say we love our Starwood partnership and we love Dave. Shout out to Dave.
Mhm.
But I would say it's been a joint effort, right? We've kind of grown up together, if you will. Starwood was one of our very first clients. I've worked with Mike Moser and John Bryan for over 10 years now, and going back to my Lakewood Ranch days, and so it has been this joint effort to make sure that Starwood's goals are solidified, right? And that we're following what Starwood wants, and it is. But April, like Allison app, you guys play a role in that, right? There's this story that we're telling from the Welcome Center, from a prospect perspective, all the way to lifestyle, and the app plays a big role in that to help us get the story out.
Yeah, talk about, you mentioned operationalizing lifestyle. You
Yeah.
guys are part of our
Yes.
operation
Yes.
when standing up a new community.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. Well, speaking of Dave, one of the biggest communities that you have, or the top selling communities that you have, is Centera. Tell us about some of your other projects that are happening. Do you have any? I'm sure you have some really cool things going on.
Yeah, we have several in the works now. I mean, one, I think we could talk Rye Ranch in Manatee County, Florida. That's one that they use all of our services. We've been with them for 3+ years now, and we do everything from amenity visioning to we're a fractional marketing director for them, as well as we do their social media, and we also do their welcome center and lifestyle. So great client that, came in with amenity planning. And then we went all the way to, the welcome center and the lifestyle piece of it. They're going to be an amazing community. They have 3 builders, and they're just getting started as of last year. Other communities, we have First Ranch in Flower Mound, Texas. That's just getting off the ground, and their sales have just started. First Ranch, FURST ranch.com the site is gorgeous. Smartfire Branding helped us with that site. And but they are going to be a very unique community in that Flower Mound area. It's voted the #1 place in the US, right? So so that's going to be a very unique, fun one. There's a developer partner that has owned the land, the first family that's owned the land for decades, and we're working with Starwood, but we also work with make sure bridging the gap with that master developer who's been great to work with.
Yeah, both of the projects, Rye Ranch and First Ranch, everything's ranch these days. First Ranch and Rye Ranch are really special projects for us because both of the developers involved in those are like willing to take their time, get it right.
Yes, intentional.
The
legacy builders.
intentional development behind them is so inspiring and fun to work on, because it's like it can reinvigorate you when you stop and have that meeting for the day. You're like, oh yeah, we're really, really taking our time here and making sure we're building something that's going to, in the long run, create super lasting impact. So those are 2 special projects in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So switching gears a little bit, you are both podcasters with Smith Lane, and you also did a rebrand with your podcast as well. Is that correct? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, the rebrand answers are coming to me, I guess.
Right,
So,
just go for it.
When did we start Smith Lane? 2 years ago. It was really, again, in one of those like huge waves of like stress and new projects and what are we doing? And that's exactly when Monica likes to say, let's start another new project.
Yeah, I think it might have been April. It's like, you need a podcast.
Yeah, perfect. Classic. Thanks, April. No, it's great. So
It turned out.
no, it's amazing. I'm just joking. Monica's like, let's start a podcast. So it was going to be Monica at first. And then I think she realized it might be more fun with the co-host.
More fun. And you're just fun. Right?
Thanks.
You bring the.
Sometimes I have to be tamed down.
Yeah.
Monica's like, can't say that to our clients, Callie.
My husband said you bring sparkle. I'm like, thanks.
Thanks,
What do I
Eric.
bring?
So yeah, we started about 2 years ago, and I'm sure you guys feel this way. Like, starting a podcast is scary at first. You're like, what are we doing? you think it's easy to sit there and talk to people, and then you're like, what's up from down? What question do I ask? What makes sense right now? So it's been such a fun journey. We were already going to have the evolution of our OnPlace Collective brand. So we were like, you know what? We can do better with Smith Lane too. And our new logo is like this cute little street sign. And when we were presented that, we were like, how was that not the logo from the beginning? Like,
so
it's
obvious.
obviously supposed to be that. So I love our new
I
Smith
love
Lane
with the little bird.
branding. Yeah.
It's
Really
great.
cute. And if you're looking at us on video, we just upped our production set. So we have
Mhm.
fancy cameras and lights looking at us now. And that's really all to Monica's vision. Monica really pushed us like, we've got to step it up. We
Yes.
got to make
If
the
we're gonna do it.
investment.
If we're
Yeah.
gonna do it, we might as well do it, right? So
Yes.
we got the set. We got a local production company here, Podsicle. They're in St. Pete. And so yeah.
They're helping us be better.
Yes.
And the whole purpose of the podcast, it's all about placemaking. So anyone who is involved with any phase of the placemaking world, right? It could be a developer, an architect, a landscape architect. We're speaking to an author in a couple weeks. Anyone who is involved in creating place, thinking about place, how place operates is who we are looking to speak to. And it's all about community also. So Smith Lane is the dirt road Monica grew up on in Alabama. I've visited it many times. And I always like to say, like, it's nothing like these communities that we're working on every single day. However, it is, I can attest to this. I've been there, like the sense of community and the knowing of your neighbors and celebrating with your neighbors and all of that I know where you got it from and that feeling.
Yes.
And so that's what we're trying to portray with everything we're working on. And that's where Smith Lane got its name.
Yeah, I think that's great. Community is relationships and connection, and you can have any place makes a community. So that absolutely makes sense that, Smith Lane is community as well. Well, great. Well, we are big fans of Smith Lane, and we just think it's, I love listening to it. And I just want to give a shout out. It was Prismatic was the marketing team behind your logo. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
They did great work.
They did great.
Speaking of great work, I was just at Newfield, and I just want to make sure people really realize this whole vision that you're talking about and conveying this feeling is so challenging when it's still really, really early, and so creating that sense of a much bigger idea and a bigger promise takes really careful attention to detail, consistency throughout all of the different touch points, whether it's around the brand, the physical environment. You guys are doing such a great job at Newfield for Mattamy Homes. I just have to say, having just been there, it was really inspiring.
Oh, thank you,
you.
April.
Did you buy something from the Harvest House?
It wasn't open, but
yeah.
I
You
did
gotta
get to
expand hours.
peek inside.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, well, next
Yeah,
time
I
we're
was there
there.
during the middle of the
Next
week.
time we're
but,
there, we'll open that thing for you.
Yeah. We have a
So,
connect.
got to
You can get it
peek.
open.
I got to
Yeah.
peek, and I know
Okay.
Sandy's doing a great job there.
Yes,
Yes.
she is. Yeah. Newfield has been, again, they were my very first interview when I started the company, and they went on to hire us. We worked through amenity visioning all the way to lifestyle. We operate the Harvest House for them, which is an adorable store where you can get all local products and then the produce that's grown on the farm there. And it's been an amazing experience. And the Mattamy team is just such a great team to work with, and they take our ideas and allow us to run with those and really expand possibilities. One of the ideas early on was to start a farmers market for them when there was just dirt and a little bit of a garden, and they said yes, and we started a farmers market 2 years before they went to sale, and it paid dividends for them because we started making that place really early. So one of those opportunities that we sometimes don't get for that early activation, but it really worked for them. They have beautiful trails, and I mean, They're going to open their first resident amenity soon. Should be later this year, and that's going to be a great place that residents are really excited about it, and it's a fitness center that's going to be very expansive. So they've just done a great job with the vision and adhering to um, what the vision is. There's a lot of people in and out of our project. So one of the things we did early on is created pillars for them to understand who we are at Newfield, and to make sure everyone is marching down that same path, and that we don't forget who we are, because we've got to make sure we're staying true to the brand. And it's worked beautifully. Their homes are gorgeous, and I'm just so happy for their success.
Yeah, and that farmer's market that we started on a dirt lot still exists.
It still
Now it's on a
exists.
beautiful paved
Yeah.
road right in front of
Yeah.
the amenity that exists on the model row, and they get
Yeah.
tons of foot traffic.
Yeah, and they have one of their large events is the Farm Jam.
Yep.
On a Friday night every month, they have what's called the Farm Jam. They get thousands of people out. They just opened their barn a few months ago, and I think we have a farm to table dinner coming up in the barn, and a couple of cool things we're working on to expand. I can't announce them just yet, but a couple of cool things that are coming to the farm. And yeah, it's really just blooming.
It's blue.
It's blooming. It's blooming. And as I talk with developers and part of councils and things like that in our industry, this whole conversation of how to establish momentum early and then sustain that momentum. I mean, it's just like death for that momentum to allow it to lag or to squander that momentum. And one of the things that you do so well, I'm going to brag about y'all, is have the vision that translates into the momentum and the commitment to carry that momentum forward. So you're not trying to salvage and hold on to something really elusive. You're actually building that momentum over time. And it was just great to see that in real life at Newfield, knowing that you were there so early.
Yeah. Well, and those conversations early are hard often with our clients, right? Because we're asking you to invest well ahead of the need, right? We want you to invest a year, 2 years prior to you getting that first sale, right? And so that can be a challenge sometimes. Like, you're putting the money in, but you don't have anything to sell just yet. And so I always go back to you. Actually, you are selling something now. You're selling the community first, right? And so once you do that and you get the buy-in, because when somebody comes out to a property and there's not really anything for them to buy except some vegetables and candles, or just have some fun to, do some goat yoga, or that's all the stuff that we did at Newfield, you start trusting, right? Like, they're just out here like creating community. That's what we were doing. And that was Matamy's first goal, is to create community first. And then we'll come in with the homes to sell those. And I think that has given them such a runway
Yes.
with sales. But I will also credit Matamy every day of the week that they saw the vision and they invested in that vision. And that's really where
Yes.
the greedy go-getters can
thrive.
thrive.
I was going to add in, and we appreciate their budget.
So, you guys just mentioned that you're over 100 employees now, which is amazing, which, Monica, you originally thought that you were going to just be 2, and now you're over 100. Tell us what is happening in the future. Where are you at in 2028? What does the next 2 to 5 years look like?
Yes, I'll take this one from Monica,
please
because I
do.
know she talks about it all day, every day. We are, of course, in an intense period of growth. We actually just hit our 110th employee, and it is the biggest joke of our company that Monica thought it would just be her and Mackenzie to start it out. We have brought on a lot of big people as of late. In the last couple months, we've hired a VP of Texas. We have a new VP of marketing, and we just hired a COO, our very first COO, who's joining the OnPlace Collective team, who started with our company last Monday, honestly, a week ago. So lots of putting pieces in play and building on what we've built over the past 4 years, but really strategically deciding how to move forward. We're so lucky in that Monica invest so much in our executive coach, Kristen Schennerlin, and we had a huge session with her last year where we put together a 3-year strategic plan. And so the 3 parts of this strategic plan are like, we've named them. Can I say the names?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deepen the moat.
Yeah. So the first section of our strategic plan is called Deepen the Moat, right? Like we're doing great things already, but how are we going to do them better to deepen the protectiveness around us? The second section is called Winter is Coming. Monica mentioned earlier that like we know we're kind of the only company right now offering all of these services, but people are going to catch on. We're going to get more and more competitors. And so we know winter is coming if you're a Game of Thrones watcher, that we've got to start preparing for that.
Or the market could shift to those type of things. So just preparing for whatever the world throws at us.
Yes, thank you for that. And then the third part of our strategic plan is called Brand in a Box. So how are we securing the brand of our company? What are we doing to get our brand out there? How are we teaching our employees to talk about the brand?
How are we living our brand?
Breathing it, all of that. So within those 3 main buckets, Brand in a Box, Winter is Coming, Deepen the Moat. Yes, I did it. There's tons of initiatives under each. I mean, I'm talking sometimes like 20 initiatives under each that we've built as a team, as a leadership team, to say, these are the things we're working on over the next 3 years to get us to a really high level of operating.
And some of these things are what our clients wanted us to do. So I referenced earlier about those 50 interviews we did for our client. Questions were, where do you want to see us go next? And so we've weaved in, we took some of them, said some things where like, no, we're not going to do that. Others were like, oh yeah, that fits, right? And so we've weaved in some, new lines of business throughout there through the next 3 years based on what our clients' needs are.
Yep. And that's where I reference we'll have the on whatever that is, that company that's created in the future. So right now, I think it's just about like organizing ourselves, bringing all these really high level new people in our company up to speed and working through the strategy to get to the next spot.
Well, as your partner, we are excited to help you grow into the next, whatever the OnPlace Collective ends up being in the next portion of where your company goes. And we're just happy to be partnering with you and be along the way. So thank you for joining us on our podcast, and thank you to our audience. Thank you to April for joining as well. And we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Great to see you.
You too.